A California bill first introduced in mid-2020 sought to hold law enforcement accountable. Pasadena Assemblymember Chris Holden submitted it just months after George Floyd was killed by Minneapolis police.
It was very important to capture the moment and to understand how we in California can ensure that those who are sworn as law enforcement officers in this state follow the law, which is currently on the books, and that is to the duty to intervene.
Assemblymember Holden told me he faced strong opposition and an abbreviated session because of the pandemic, so the first bill failed. So he reintroduced it for this legislative session. AB 26, also known as the George Floyd Law, is now making its way through the legislature.
This bill basically addresses not only the importance of the duty to intervene, but to set the standards and guidelines on which an officer is to intervene and the types of things that they would do, de-escalation, use of body cameras, radioing commanding officers, things of that nature that would help create a different outcome than what we saw in George Floyd's unfortunate, untimely death.
But community activists like Barry Axius say changing the system of policing must come from Congress.
It can't be localized. It can't just be this state is doing that, another state is doing that. One state is ending qualified immunity, another state is thinking about it. If a police officer is fired for any misconduct, they should never, ever be in the career of law enforcement anywhere here in America.
What is it that you want to say, though, to activists, to people who say it's still not enough for there to be a bill in the Assembly of California, but not a federal mandate?
When you bring together community and other interested parties to see change happens, sometimes it does take a little bit more time because of engagement and different points of views that need to be addressed. But at the end of the day, it's just a matter of being vigilant, not giving up, not letting the time that it takes to work through these processes cause there to be frustration and abandonment and deciding to move away from the cause. It is now the time to dig deeper, to work harder with greater determination and focus and perseverance that will lead to a federal law.
I'm Brandy Cummings, KCRA 3 News.
The proposed George Floyd Justice in Policing Act is still pending. It has not yet passed the Senate, though negotiators have said that they believe that they're making progress there. Today, George Floyd's family met with President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris at the White House to commemorate the anniversary of their loss and to continue to push for legislation.